Shabbat Shalom. So for those of you that are the roomies, this is the volume you're going to have. We're having technical difficulties with the microphones here. So if you can't hear me, come closer. I'll try and project. And for those of you that are the Zoomies, you do have the benefit of the microphone, so go figure. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Let's turn to page 10 and we'll sing Hine Ma Tov. It's such a wonderful, fitting welcoming of Shabbat to say how good, how pleasant it is for us all to be together as one. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Now we sing Bim Bam, our nigun, or our wordless melody to wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. So, in the 19th century, can you hear me well enough? Yes, okay. In the 19th century, the Rabbi of Ger, Poland, said that Shabbat was the root of all life. And it's why Shabbat is called rest, because we are returning to the root. We are returning to the place of home. So all week long, we're meant to look forward to this moment, to this time, when we return to our place of rest, because that's where we're truly meant to be. So tonight, as you pray, as you think about it, as you leave the synagogue, think about, where is your root place? Where is the place that you rest? And then how can you truly feel rested? That's the work of Shabbat. And sometimes the answers to those questions are not that easy. Sometimes that's a lifelong pursuit, to feel, where can you really rest? Where can you truly find that place? So, but I wish that for all of you this Shabbat, that you find that place of true rest and peace. So we're going to light our Shabbat candles, and we'll start with Light These Lights. I chose a lot of music tonight that I love, a lot of music from Debbie Friedman, who was my musical inspiration when I was a teenager. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to sing Light These Lights. Unfortunately, you don't have the words in your Siddur, so you can either sing along if you know it or just enjoy. Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. So you can find the Shabbat candle blessing on page 2. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We're going to turn to page 8 in your Siddur, and you can join me if you'd like, but this is a prayer and intention by the poet Ruth Bryn, and we'll read, I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English, no Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, and my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. For our warm-up psalms, we're going to sing Shiru L'Adonai. You can find it on page 11, but the English parts of it that we're going to sing are on page 344. So if you want to follow the English, and I'll warn you, the Hebrew is a little bit switched in the English version. Don't worry about it. Turn to page 344, and we'll sing together. Shiru L'Adonai Kol Haaretz Shiru L'Adonai Shir Chadash. Let's sing that again. Shiru L'Adonai Kol Haaretz Shiru L'Adonai Shir Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru L'Adonai Kol Haaretz Shiru L'Adonai Shir Chadash. Beautiful. You sound great tonight. We're going to go to page 24. Some of you know Rabbi Stacy Blank. She was our first student rabbi here at Congregation Or Tzafon. She and I have remained close friends. She's a rabbi in Jerusalem. And she wrote this intention about Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem means peace unto you, peace be upon you. And when we sing it on Shabbat, we are welcoming the angels. And not everybody realizes that angels and angelology are part of Judaism, but yes, indeed they are, particularly Jewish mysticism. So we're saying, welcome to the angels, come angels in peace and depart in peace. And so I want you to think about this when you're singing Shalom Aleichem. And it says, the angels sit on our shoulders on Shabbat. These angels that helped God create the world. The angels that are messengers. In our tradition, these angels bring good tidings, but they also bring warnings. So where are your angels? Who are your angels, and what shape do they take, and what do they whisper in your ear? As we sing Shalom Aleichem, send greetings to your own angels. Welcome the past, welcome the future, and get cozy with the blessing of the moment. Don't you love that idea of just being cozy in this very moment? And greet the blessings of life. So as we sing Shalom Aleichem, as we think about angels, may we enter our deepest thoughts and dreams in blessing and peace. And Shalom Aleichem can be found on page 24. Lie, lie, la, lie, lie, la, la, lie, la, lie, lie, la, la, lie, la, la, lie, la, 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 lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 la, la, lie, 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 la, la, lie, 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 la, 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 lie, la, la, lie. Now you know the melody, okay? Here we go. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Back to Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. One more verse. Tzedchem l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Last time. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I hold that tune, you know, that melody so close. That was the last piece she wrote before she died. So it's so beautiful. Let's turn to page 26, and we chant this prayer of praise. Aiden, do you want to come and chant the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26?
Yitkadal vayitkada shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divarach hirte v'amlich malchute. Behayehon uvyomehon uvhayedechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, uvizman kariv. Bimeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach. Leolam ulam be'amaya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbardur v'yitrumah v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal. Shemei dekudashah brichu. Let lamin kol birhata v'shir rata. Tush v'chata v'nechemata. Damiran v'yalma. Bimeru, amen.
Would you like to stay there and sing the Baruch Hu? I'll get you started on the melody. Would you please rise as we have our formal call to worship? So because of the microphone situation, I'm going to have you do it from over there so your voice can be heard in the microphone. That's okay. I'm not going to do the Kiddush, but that's fine. No worries. Okay, wait, and I'll tell you. So you have to kind of like three-quarter turn, so your voice projects into the microphone, but you do, okay? So we're going to just do it a cappella. Okay, go ahead. Baruch Hu et Adonai.
Baruch Hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam va'ed.
Yasher koach. Ooh, I sprung that one on you, huh? You can all be seated. Let's turn to page 31 in the Siddur. And we can read together up at the top of the page. So this is our beautiful nature prayer. We're talking about God as the one who evenings the evenings, who brings on the dusk. So praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Before we sing the Shema, so the Shema is our ultimate prayer of oneness, I wanted to share with you a poem by the medieval poet Solomon ibn Gabirol. And this was a poet I studied a lot when I was writing my rabbinic thesis on the Shema and blessings. And he wrote about the heart connection between us and God. And so as you sing the Shema, maybe think about these words. Keep this in mind. So he's speaking to God. He says, at morning and evening I seek you. I offer you my face and my outspread palms. For you I yearn, to you I turn, your grace to earn, like someone at my door who is asking for alms. The heavens do not have room for you to dwell, and yet you have a palace in my mind. For in my heart I hide your holy name. Your love spills over and cannot be confined. And so I will give thanks to God's holy name, while yet Elohim breathes the living soul in me. So beautiful. So we'll sing together the Shema, which is on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Aiden, you want to come back for the Vahafta? I should have just had you stay up here. For those of you that are Zoomies that may not know, Aiden is studying to become a bar mitzvah, which will be in February. So we are the recipients of his learning and his leading our prayers. So go ahead.
V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al vavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech Ushoch beha, uvkumecha, ushartam leot al yadecha, vehayula totafot ben einecha, utavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Laman tiskeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim, lelohehem. Ani Adonai Elohehem Asher Hotzeiti Ethem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Lechiyot Lahem Lelohim Ani Adonai Elohehem
Adonai
Elohehem
Yashakah. I'll let you off duty now for the rest of the service. We turn to page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. We turn the page and we come to sing this Vishamru right from the Torah, right from the book of Exodus. This meditation that Shabbat is this special gift, this sign between God and the Jewish people. So for this prayer, if you're able, we stand. And again, this is the Debbie Friedman version that I like. So. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, l'dorotam, berit olam, berit olam, beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i l'shavat vayinafash. If you just stay standing a moment, we're about to move into it's called our standing prayer, the Amidah. In your Siddur, it's also called the Tefillah. The centerpiece prayer unit was so important, they called it Tefillah, prayer. In the Talmud, the rabbis dubbed it that. There's a lot of different names. When we say this prayer during the weekday, there are actually 19 blessings. But on Shabbat, there's only 6 that we say. We say the first 3 and the last 3. So what happens to the 13 in the middle? And the 13 in the middle are all about asking for stuff. I teach the kids all about asking for stuff. And on Shabbat, we don't ask for stuff. We don't petition God. God gets to rest. And this is supposed to be a time where we just be. So we don't petition. So we sing the first 3 and the last 3 blessings. We say this prayer silently. It's your time to pray to meditate, to pray the words in Hebrew, to pray the words in English, the interpretive poems. Don't try and do it all, or you'll be standing there all night. You pick and choose what you want to say. So use this time to reflect on all of our blessings, on what we have, rather than what we lack. Shabbat is the time to concentrate on gratitude. So we'll start with this intention on page 46, and then we'll continue silently. Cindy will accompany our silence with just some meditative music, and the Amidah goes all the way to page 62, but feel free to sit whenever you are done. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. On page 62, we sing Yehiyu L'Ratzon Imrei Fi. Yehiyu l'ratzon imrefi v'hegyon libi. Yehiyu l'ratzon imrefi v'hegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri v'goali, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri v'goali. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you, my rock, and my Redeemer. The next part's just humming. So time is central to Jewish life, the cycle of time. Our holidays mark time. We have set periods in our calendar for introspection and self-improvement. Shabbat, right? Every week we have prescribed time to rest. And less well known, but still very much part of our Jewish calendar and the cycling of our time is what's called Shemitah. Shemitah is the year of release, and it's also known as the sabbatical year. So the word Shemitah, it literally means a year let go. A year when debts are supposed to be forgiven, when private land holdings are supposed to be open to all, and if you have any surplus food storage, it's supposed to be distributed to everyone equally. And the first reference that we have to Shemitah is in the book of Exodus, and I'm going to read it to you. It's from chapter 23. It says, "For 6 years you are to sow your land and to gather in its produce. But in the seventh year, you are to let it rest and go fallow, so that the needy of your people may eat. And then, after whatever remains, the wildlife of the field get to eat." I'm paraphrasing the Torah here a little bit. And you're supposed to do that with your vineyard and with your olive grove. We read about it again in Leviticus in a slightly different context, when God is talking to Moses, and God says, "Let the land rest," because it's a reminder that the land belongs to God, not to you. The land is really just on loan to us on the condition that we are good stewards, that we take care of the land, we don't overwork it, and whatever benefit we get from the land is not just for us. It's also for those that are less fortunate, those that are poor. So why am I talking about Shemitah tonight? We're not reading these sections of the Torah, but this is the year. 5782 is one of these 7th years. This is a Shemitah year. And a lot of rabbis spoke about this on Rosh Hashanah because that's when it started. So I'm a little late. We're halfway through Shemitah, but it's not too late to get on board with this ancient practice. Shemitah, it's the commandment, it's a mitzvah, commandment. It's only meant to be required if you're in the land of Israel. But thinking about it, you know, we live in such a time of rapid climate change and such profound wealth inequality that I think Shemitah has some ancient wisdom, this idea of release, this idea about guidance on how we can come into balance with our earth and with our fellow human beings. So that's why I'm talking about this tonight. So I mentioned Shemitah. It's at Mount Sinai. It is specifically said. And centuries of commentators and rabbinic sages have wondered why. Why single out that mitzvah that God is going to say specifically to Moses to tell the children of Israel? According to our tradition, all the commandments were given at Sinai. So why make such a big of a deal about Shemitah of all things? And so, as I said, centuries of commentary. I'll give you one I like. Harold Kushner offers this. He says, just as Sinai was the smallest of mountains, but the words spoken there changed the world, so the people Israel, the smallest of the nations, present a vision of social justice that has the power to change the world. Think about it. Good stewardship of the land, not overusing it, sharing the bounty of the land with those less fortunate. That's a vision. So along the same lines, we learn about another lesson like this from the book of Psalms. And we recite this verse every holiday in the Hallel, which are these psalms of praise. And it says, the stone that the builder rejected becomes the chief cornerstone. So you got to think, if the builder rejected it, it's either damaged, worn, too small, something, but that becomes the chief cornerstone. What's a cornerstone? If you see an arch of a building right in the middle is a cornerstone. It holds everything up. So the concept is something that's seemingly small or insignificant or discarded is actually the foundation to everything. And in these past couple of years, haven't we all experienced something small or seemingly insignificant that made a huge difference? Let's just think about the coronavirus a minute, as if we don't think about it enough. But the simplest, smallest things are the best defenses. Washing our hands, wearing a mask, staying distant, getting a vaccine. Those are such small things, and yet they are the greatest defense. And wasn't it the small, simple things that kept us going during quarantine? Getting outside and taking a walk, listening to music, maybe having a Zoom call with family, binge watching a show. Small things, but they kind of kept us going. And nowhere is the lesson of the smallness of Sinai, of this discarded stone becoming the foundation, more important than we think about the people in our lives that are unsung during this time. And I was recently reading an article about New York's Presbyterian Children's Hospital, and it was an article about the environmental services team. Now, these are people, there's 5 people that are in charge of this team. They're part of the janitorial staff. And what do? Not just at this hospital, but at all hospitals. They wipe down the beds. They clean the bathrooms. They decontaminate the medical equipment. They are the front line, the first line almost of defense against infection, and yet they are often completely overlooked and underestimated. In their work, they're putting their lives in great risk to exposure, right? But they are amongst the lowest paid staff in the hospital. So they're doing this extremely important work, significantly, seemingly small, but they are the unsung heroes of this pandemic, along with lots of others that we can think of. Truck drivers, garbage collectors, bus drivers, pharmacists. Have any of you been to a pharmacy lately? I heard the pharmacist talking to somebody who said he'd been on his feet for 9 hours without sitting down, and people were still yelling at him. People go to the doctor, they get a script, they come, they want it to be filled, and if it's not done in 5 minutes, they're yelling at the staff. People like delivery drivers, nurses, therapists, lab workers, med techs, and let's not forget housekeepers, farm workers, meat packers, people that are maybe immigrants or undocumented, people that our society, many of whom they want to just not acknowledge them that they're even here. And yet without them, our life doesn't work. So Rabbi Jack Reamer writes, if there's anything we ought to learn from this ordeal that we have been through, I believe that it's our obligation not only to honor the scientists and epidemiologists and leaders of government, all important, but that it's our task to honor the manual laborers, the people who no one seems to pay any attention to, for they too, they play a vital and indispensable role in getting us through this ordeal. So these people are the stone, the discarded stone that becomes the foundation. So maybe that's our Shemitah practice, living in the diaspora. Maybe we don't have fields to lay fallow in order that the poor can come and glean, but maybe you can think about the unsung people that have touched your life and how you would acknowledge them and make them feel appreciated and seen and noticed. Maybe they're people you know. You could say thank you. Maybe they're people you see, but you don't know their name. I don't know my garbage collectors' names, but I see the same guys every week. Maybe it's your mail carrier. What could you do to express your gratitude and let them know they are appreciated? And I would just say on a personal note, I've read this parsha for years and years. How many years have I been reading about the sabbatical year? And it never really connected to me, because I thought, oh, that's an ancient biblical thing. But this year, I'm about to embark on a kind of a Shemitah experience, because I'm going to be releasing from my regular work, not all my work, but my regular work. And I relate to this idea that something miraculous can happen when you rest, when you pause. Rabbi David Ingberg he likens it to the dormancy in nature. You know, when the heartbeat rests. It's like a holding pattern, right? And there are seeds inside each and every one of us, even within our society, that can't emerge because we don't know how to slow down. We don't know how to rest. We don't think resting is okay. We're afraid to stop. So like when you skip a stone across a lake and it goes skip, 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 it goes so fast and we're terrified that the stone's going to drop. It's going to get wet and it's going to disappear, right? That's what we think about resting and stopping. So I think this sacred time of release, it's not arriving just in time for me, it's arriving in time for all of us as we start to take these baby steps forward. We hope, God, we hope, from this pandemic. The 7th year reminds us, it actually commands us to live with respect for our earth, to create an inclusive community for all people, all backgrounds, abilities, genders, classes. We want to be a community that honors its ancestors and teaches its children, that protects the vulnerable and takes care of other people's needs. So I hope and pray for all of you that you find the opportunity. You've got 6 months now, 6+ months remaining in Shemitah. What's it going to look like for you? What's going to be your Shemitah practice of either connecting to the earth, helping those less fortunate? How will you rest? Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Let's take a moment for prayers for healing. We all have people in our lives, in our families, our communities, our world that are in need of deep healing. either spiritual or emotional healing or physical healing. And so we pause every Shabbat to think about them. And in our congregation this Shabbat, we are saying prayers of healings for the Alhada family, Markham Becker, Robin Cohen, Raul and Manuela da Silva, Diana Heller, Barbara and Chip Kurtzman, Rick Moss, Dave Podolsky, Elliot Schwartz, Cheryl Schelleb, John Sitters, Ellen and Michael Weingarten, Kit Levine, Margaret Schmidt, Marcia Lee Gans, and Macy Burns. And so does anyone else have any names that you'd like to add to our list tonight? I'll start here.
Sue Spear, Marion.
And Janice.
Okay, we're going to come across. Okay, any names? Okay. Mike? No? Let's come back here. Sandy, any names? Okay. Any names for healing? No? Jerome? Do you have any names? And for those of you that are Zoomies, we'll just pause a minute. We'll take a breath and we'll make space for you to add your names as well. God, send them all comfort and relief speedily in our days and grant them a complete healing of body, mind, and spirit. Blessed are you, source of life, who helps us to bring light where there is darkness and healing where there is brokenness. And we'll sing together the Misha Berach prayer, which can be found on page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We just want to make a couple of announcements. We're wishing a happy birthday to Nitzan Kolakant. Her birthday is on Sunday. Bill Alexander. Bill, happy birthday on Wednesday. And Leslie on Thursday. Happy birthday. And also Gail Gresham shares your birthday. So happy birthday to them. We don't have any anniversaries this week. You can find everything that's going on at Congregation Ortzaphone on our website, on the weekly bulletin, and you are also able to subscribe to that if you want to contact our administrator. All that information is on the website. So blessings to all of you in this season of light. I know we have lots of wonderful, diverse families that will be celebrating with extended families, and I'm wishing you all happiness and light this season. So it's time for our closing prayers, our Aleinu. Aleinu is although the words seem particularistic, it's actually a very universal prayer. It's a wish for a time when we all can speak as one, when we all can come together and all live together in peace. So if you turn to page 282, and if you are able to please rise for the Aleinu, which is at the bottom of the page. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Let's turn to page 287. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. If you please stay standing, it's time now to remember those that have gone before us. We turn to page 294. And this Shabbat we remember Lawrence Day, brother of Susan Aroner, Ben Herson, grandfather of Allison Herson, Sherry Alberts, niece of Jane Sachs, and Jean Pollock, our mother. And I say our mother because I know, sisters, you're out there watching. So does anybody else have any other names to add? Yeah, Leslie? Sam Kazanoff. Any others? And again, for you at home, we'll pause a minute. If you have some names to add, we'll just take a breath. Leslie, is Sam your father? Or no? Okay. And I'm going to light the candle. I'll light this candle for all those that we are remembering that have no one to light a candle for them. And then we will say the mourner's Kaddish for them and for all those that have no one to say it for them. Okay, we'll join together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayei chon uv'yomei chon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbi mivarach le'olam l'olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudisha brich hu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. And you can be seated. So just in closing tonight, the Torah portion that is being read this week throughout the world is Vayechi, and it stands for "and he lived." And yet this is the part of the book of Genesis, the last chapter in the book of Genesis, when Jacob dies. And so there's a whole string of blessings. He blesses all of his sons and two of his grandsons, Ephraim and Manasseh. And he gives them these blessings that sort of predict what their future and the future of their descendants would be. And the rabbis went on elaborately to say that Jacob is doing this based on their traits and their qualities and sort of things that he's shown them, that he's predicting what they're going to be. But I think it's really not about predicting the future at all. If you read those blessings, Jacob gives a very unique blessing to each one, and I think he sees them. I think he really sees them and acknowledges who they are. And so it's a gift he gives on his deathbed, right? For them to be seen. And that's always a gift for us, isn't it, when someone sees us? So when we finish a book of Torah, we say, Chazak, Chazak, Vanit Chazek. And what that means is strength, strength, be strong, and we shall be strengthened. So you want to say it with me or after me? I'll say it. Chazak, Chazak, Vanit Chazek. We are on the brink of a new year, a new secular year. And as we look forward to the new year that's right around the corner, I pray that we all work to accept who we are, that we are where we are, that we see those of us around us, and that we can be truly our best selves in the coming weeks and months and in the year ahead. And yes, may we all be strengthened. So the closing song is called Tfilat Haderech, which is actually the Traveler's Prayer. It's on page 345 in your Siddur. There are people amongst us that are traveling, some big trips, some small, and yet when we think about it, aren't we all traveling somewhere? Somehow, even if not geographically, we're all travelers. And so this is, again, a final just tribute to Debbie Friedman, this beautiful Tfilat Haderech. Do you see it on page? Did I give you the right page, 345? Okay, here we go. As we go on our way, may we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. Amen. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. You know this part, it's just the amens. Ready? Amen. Amen. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Be well, and we'll see you soon. Shabbat Shalom.